Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Grand Rising. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday, everybody. I am getting situated here. I'm live from my energy work studio today. So my setting is a little bit different. The view is a little different today. But we're going to get self-care. Self-care boss, are you with us? Are you with us? Hey, lady. How you
Hey,
beautiful?
good. I am trying to get my this Wi-Fi keeps popping off for some reason. Hold on a
Mm-hmm.
second.
Okay.
Because what ends up happening if the Wi-Fi is off, it messes up the connection.
Okay. Well, okay.
Yeah. Let me make sure. How you doing there? I saw the sound bowls.
Yeah, I'm in my energy work studio today. So
Coolness. Coolness.
I'm gonna go live from here, girl, from this space, since I
Mhm.
haven't got to share this space with the people. And
Well,
this is where I do my thing.
what do you have in your energy work studio?
Well, I've got my sound bowls.
Hmm.
So that I do my sound therapy down here. I also use tuning forks.
Okay.
So I hope to be very, very soon. My plan is just to be able to. I want to be able to pre-record the sound therapy sessions for people. I want to be able to pre-record or record live the session I'm doing for them, so they can, take it home. They can have
Right.
something to listen to later.
Right.
Um, and to be able to do, because while we're in session, we're doing customized affirmations along with the sound therapy. So with the sound therapy, the crystals involved are attuned to 432 hertz, which triggers your body to heal itself, right? But if you're saying your affirmations with the corresponding sound bowl, like say if we're talking about attracting love, you know, and your affirmation is I lose nothing when I give my love. That's one of my favorite ones, right? Because sometimes we're holding on so tightly, and feeling like, oh, well, if I love them and they don't love me back, I've lost something. Did you really? When we give love, we gain. When we give love, we gain. So if we're playing this bowl and we're doing the affirmation, I lose nothing when I give my love, that would be something that would be included in the recording. So we make the affirmations based on whatever the person expresses to me in consultation that they want to work on. So
That's
I soon,
cool.
yeah, I want to be positioned to record it so you can also hear it again later. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's customized to what that person needs. Like you said, if they want to have that particular affirmation, I lose nothing when I attract love. It could be my body feels fully energetic or whatever it is, and
Yes.
you can bring all of that energy in to the
Yeah.
person because that's what it is. It's transmuting the energy. I was actually sitting in a class this week all about belief. And
Mm-hmm.
that's where our beliefs about love, our beliefs about money, our beliefs about love, they really come from what is going on energetically around us in our heart, in our mind, in our spirit. So yeah, and you
So
can, what you're describing is like you can transmute it.
100%. So I love the affirmation that you were alluding to about being fully energized when you give love, right? So that one would
Mhm.
correspond to our solar plexus chakra, which is this bowl,
Right.
because solar plexus has to do with power, right? And sometimes we feel like we're giving over our power just by loving somebody, by allowing our heart to become filled with love for someone, right? And expressing love and support for someone. That is a total falsehood. Now, I'm going to challenge some people's thinking right now. We talk a lot about so and so drained my energy, right? This person just drains my energy. They're energy vampire. And I get what you're saying. I totally get it. Lord knows, I've run across some narcissists and all that. But I'm going to tell you something. A narcissist cannot drain your energy without your permission. Okay? If a narcissist, you have to give them permission to do this to you. Okay? So the way you're giving them permission to do this to you is when you feel that little funny feeling in your gut, and I'm not talking about fear. I'm not talking about fear. I'm talking about
Mhm.
that feeling that tells you this is not wise. This is not a wise move. Now you saw this person, do XYZ to somebody else. They have the capacity to do that, to treat people that way. You heard them say, people tell you who they are. You heard them say, oh, well, I'm crazy, or I'm real jealous, or,
What?
I really don't want much out of life. People say stuff, and we kind of blow over it because we're like, oh, they didn't mean that. What they really mean is that. No, they just told you what they meant. Okay? They
Oh
just told
yeah,
you
people
what they
are
meant.
very clear, either with their words or actions.
Yeah, and sometimes they're purposely telling you, and sometimes they're just kind of letting it slip, but we blow over it and we don't clarify. Not only do we put over what we want them to have meant, but we also will not clarify, like, well, did you really mean that? What do you mean by that? We don't do that. All right. So you have that little voice telling you, well, this is not wise. It's okay to love this person and care about this person and support their efforts, but you don't need to be making an effort for them, making the efforts instead of them making their own effort. It's okay. I'm just giving examples. Someone's like, oh, I'm looking for a job. Well, I know somebody that's hiring. I know someone, that can help you get a job. Give me your resume. Give me your resume. Give me a CV. What's not okay is, oh, I'm gonna make your resume for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm all doing this for you. And no, we should all be adulting, right? So I am fully energized when I give my love because that actually falls in love with universal law. There's a universal
Mhm.
law that states that when two frequencies come in contact with each other, the lower frequency must acclimate and must match the higher frequency. Okay. And that's something that we work with in sound therapy. So what that means is if I'm doing a session for somebody and they're vibrating low, but I come in, I've got this energy, I'm vibrating high, I'm allowing source to flow through me. They're laid out on the table while I'm doing my crystal sound bowls, or if we're doing it virtually, their vibration has to come up. Their vibration
Yeah.
has to come up. Okay. That's just how that works. How does that look, in relationship? If I'm truly bringing my A game so far as energy is concerned, this person not going to be able to stay in my presence when I'm vibrating high. I'm keeping that conversation high, my attitude, everything about me reflects high vibration, if that person tries to come in with some negative talk, I'm not gonna match that negative talk. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. My day was horrible too with this and that, and I just never know how people are. We don't do that. That's not what we do. We say, you know what? There may be some challenges today, but I'm still here. I'm still,
I'm positive. Yeah, I'm keeping it. Yeah.
you're keeping it high vibrational. And when you do that, that person, that negative energy you're not feeding it. If they're determined to hang on to that negative energy, they'll leave. They will leave your presence. They'll leave the room or they'll leave the building. They'll go, find a source, another source, you know. to fuel that negative energy. But if they stay in your presence, they don't have to raise that vibration.
So I got a question about that because I know it's what we're talking about today because you're talking about like different vibrations, the solar plexus, how the sound therapy you do plays into this. How does that work when we're experiencing ups and downs in relationships? Because sometimes people expect their romance to be perfect. Like, oh, every day is going to look like this. We're never going to have any challenges. We're never going to have any trouble. How do you deal with those ups and downs?
Listen, no love is perfect. No love is perfect. You know, perfection is like this made up thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I say perfect, I'm saying that there's no love relationship, whether it's romance or a relationship with your parent or your child or a friend. There's no relationship that's going to be without conflict. It's going to be without disagreement, right? That is totally normal. But I think Hollywood and social media, people only posting the highlight reels of their life, has us thinking every day is going to be flowers and candy, and every day he's proposing, and every day is this high. Every day is a high. No, that's not real life. Even you within yourself, we experience fluctuations, right?
Right.
So when two people come together, now you got two people fluctuating. You know, you got two people fluctuating. So it's normal to have the ups and downs, and we shouldn't feel like, oh, my romantic relationship or my relationship with my child or my relationship with my friend or my partner, my parent, is a failure because we're not seeing eye to eye today, or we're not seeing eye to eye this week. We're not seeing eye to eye this month. You may not see eye to eye on something major for a year, right?
Yeah, this is true.
But if that bond is solid and we're clear on what it is that brought us together, substantive things have brought us together, then I still have love for you. I still have other things to talk to you about. I still want to know how you're doing. If you're making progress in your life, if there's something I can do for you, even though we don't agree on this over here. It doesn't mean we got to break connection now. Yeah.
Something you just said was so poignant. Like, love does not equal agreement. It's like we have this misconception that, because this is what we're talking about, attracting love energy. Love does not always equal agreement. Yes, there's going to be some likenesses, some similarities, but it does not equal 100% agreement. Because I can say, I don't agree with my mom on a lot of stuff. And that doesn't
Yeah.
mean that I don't have love for her.
Right.
Even think about some friendships and colleagues and all kinds of people. Love does not require you to agree with everybody. Because even think about this. I'm trying to think of a recent situation. I'll just use my mom. Like I said, she doesn't agree with me speaking my truth. Like, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you shouldn't, because their generation, her generation did not do that. They hid stuff. So for me, that's not how I operate. So I have to speak my story. I have to tell where I am. I have to tell what I'm experiencing right now, and not just try to cover it up and say, oh, that's not what I'm really going through. That doesn't work for me, because to me, honesty is love. But simply because
Yeah.
we disagree on that point doesn't mean we can't get along. We can't love each other. We can't coexist. What do you think about that? Like, just the part about agreeing with people.
I love what you just said. And, it's true. We're not going to always agree. Agreement is not a necessary component in order for you to stay in connection and relationship with someone that you truly love. Now, do we have to agree on what we're about in life in general or where we're going? Especially if you're my partner, then yeah, you know. But do we have to agree on every little fine point, every single thing in life? Does that mean we got to agree on how we keep everything in the closet? Does that mean we got to agree on, like, no, that's not realistic. If two people are agreeing all the time, somebody is not speaking their truth. If two people never disagree, now I'm not saying because you disagree, it means you have to argue. I'm not talking about fussing, fighting, and arguing, because it is possible to disagree without it turning into a fight. It don't have to be an argument. I feel this way, you feel that way. Well, let's see what happens. Even though I may not agree, that I think say you want to be, your partner decides that they want to do a different career. They want a career change, right? And you like, ooh, I think, if you're not happy with what you're doing with your life, yes, you should, I think you deserve to be happy with what you're doing with your life. Whatever you spend, say you spend 40 hours a week doing that, I'd hate to see you spend 40 hours a week doing something that makes you miserable. However, you're telling me, say you want to become a truck driver, right? But I know for a fact you don't like to drive. You don't like to drive.
Now how does that work?
Yeah, how's that gonna work? You complain about driving back and forth to work. When we go out of town, you don't want to drive. You want to take turns driving. You don't love to drive. I like to drive more than you do, but you're saying you want to be a driver for a living? Well, maybe I think that we could build a truck driving company instead. And we can get some trucks and have some drivers. And you know what I'm saying? We do it that way. Maybe that's my opinion. But you don't see that right now. You want to go to school to be a truck driver. Does that mean I'm not going to support your effort, and I'm just going to completely work against you in doing that because I can see, I'm pretty sure it's about to fail? No, that's not what that means. I go ahead and support you, even though I think you're about to fall on your face. I'm going to go on and support you, right? Because it's not going to hurt you to learn this other thing. It may be a little expensive, but it's okay. Because once you do this and you try this and you realize this is not for you, and I've been kind the whole time, I've been supportive the whole time, now it's easier to come back and say, you know what, Pangea, I think you was right. I don't even like drive. This is crazy. What were you saying about starting a company? While you was in school learning how to drive trucks, I was over here doing the research on how to open this company. And now we have your experience on how to drive a truck combined with my research on how to own the company. Now we're ready to go. You see what I'm saying? But had I said, oh, I'm not going to support you and I'm going to work against you, and no, I'm not going to go pick up the kids or, do this or do that to support you in your effort because I don't think it's going to work. Now I'm not being a partner, and I'm wrong. And I'm giving my partner something to push back against. When you give somebody something to push back against, now you definitely have a fight on your hands. If I don't give you anything to fight against, now we're both just going with the flow. You feel supported, I feel supportive, and once you realize that was right, or I may realize you were right. You may surprise me. Guess what? You do like to drive in these trucks. Who knew? But folks fall out. Completely fall out of relationship because we don't know how to resolve a disagreement. The disagreement always has to turn into conflict. And because TV told us, social media told us, we never supposed to have a conflict, now we broke up. What?
Yeah, there was no reason, for you to break, especially, and to use that example, you're saying both parties were coexisting and going towards a goal, even though they may have seen it differently. They're both going to get their needs met in the end, because let's say he discovers I don't like to drive trucks, and then y'all could start the business or whatever ends up working out. If they just broke up, neither one of them would have seen the path of the partnership. Like,
Right.
if
Now both
you
people
have
start.
a greater, yeah.
Yeah. There's a thing, when you come into partnership with someone, and this also, we love to talk about relationship love because it's so juicy and everybody wants to talk about that. I'm going to say, I find it interesting that when I do readings, people ask about love more than they ask about money. And it's funny
Really?
because yes, it's socially acceptable to, I want money, but to be like, oh, I want love and be honest about that. For some reason, there's this shame factor attached to wanting love. We need to change that. That's crazy. Humans want love. A newborn baby can die without love. It's a
Not at
basic
all. Yeah.
get on, you know? But we're talking about this from a partnership love perspective, but the same is true in just say a family member. Say you have an adult child, right? And you're supporting this adult child in going to college, right? Now they want to major in this. You think they're more suited for that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Now, in most cases, especially if the parent is paying for this education or, supplementing whatever, loans or grants or whatever, won't cover or whatever, the parents don't pull that parent card. A lot of parents don't pull that parent card and be like, you can't do this without me, so you're going to major in what I want you to major in. And you'll see I'm right. No, they won't. They're not going to never see you right. They're not, because what they really see is that you are neglecting, rejecting, their personhood. You know, you are refusing to acknowledge their personhood. That their own dreams and goals for themselves are valid. A different approach could be, you know what? It's only your freshman year. You got your freshman sophomore year really to get your basics down and figure
Yeah.
out what you want to do. You need to have a general idea of where you're going, right? But you're really getting your prereqs down,
Mm-hmm.
Now, during your freshman and sophomore year, I'm going to work with you to create opportunities for you to shadow somebody that does what you think you want to do, and for you to shadow someone that does what I think you're well suited for. We're going to spend time together because we still close. We still mom and daughter. We're still mom and son. We're still father and son, right? We still have a bond based on other substantive things because I know and respect you as a human, not just my child, like some little possession that I can just move around and place you here where I want you. We do that to our kids. I'm going to still work with you. We're going to work together and do this research and see which one feels more like home to you. We may find out that neither one of us is right, you know? But the point is, your person, whoever this person is you're in a relationship with, needs to feel your love and support as they go through their fluctuations in life. And if you're not giving that, you can't expect to receive that. It's like,
Not at all.
yeah. It's like, you're not going to change your mind because somebody else has a different opinion, but you expect them to change their mind because you have a different opinion? Come on now.
You Nowhere as I'm listening to you speak about this, because of course this conversation is about the ups and downs in love. You're not always going to agree. You're not
Yeah.
always going to see things the same way. It's this thing as humans, we always want to be right. And I had to learn this myself. Part of that comes from we have to learn to respond and not react, because here's how we would react. I've been getting much better at this, because even in working with clients and some of the things that clients will say to me, I don't immediately react. I respond. And here's what I mean. If a client comes to me and says, Elmira, I'm dealing with this with my breakup, da 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 da, he did this, it was abuse, whatever it is, I don't immediately be like, girl, you need to leave him and da da da. Number one, that wouldn't be professionally cool.
Right.
And then I wouldn't even say that if this client was a friend, because the proper response is not to immediately react to the emotion, to the frustration, the anger, is really to analyze what's going on in the situation and see the bigger picture. So that's what we have to do in relationships too, not just say our immediate, because we could be immediately frustrated, angry, pissed off, all of this at our partner, but we don't need to react. We need to respond to the greater good. And that's what we talk about with the female leadership too, is that comes from a response, not a reaction.
Yes, 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 yes. I love that. I love that. And I feel like most people are familiar with the concept of responding versus reacting. But for anybody who's not, what we're talking about is a reaction. A reaction is solely based on what you just said or did. You did this, so boom, I got to fire back. That's, you said this was wrong, I'm offended. You know I don't like that. Yada yada. You got to fire back, right? Whereas a response is something thought out. It's not just based on emotion, and it's not just based on what this person just did, versus it being, instead of it being based on what this person just did or said to you, a response is based on what is our ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal based on the context of this relationship? Now, you mentioned a professional relationship. If this is your client, you're thinking, this person said something. What if you're dealing with someone that's of a different culture and they just said something that is offensive to you as a Black woman, right? It could happen. They could say something that maybe they're not thinking of it from that term, because that's not their reality. They're not thinking from that perspective. But as a Black woman, you're thinking, no, you didn't. I can't believe, how tone deaf are you? But as as a light worker, as a heartbreak healer and a self-care coach, you're thinking, well, my role in this relationship is to guide you through what you're going through. It's to guide you to healing. So you're going to give a response that's going to open a new pathway of thinking for them that's going to take them towards healing.
Yes.
Right? Healing the wound, rather than you thinking about how that personally offended you. In that moment, it don't matter. Well, that person is not like intentionally disrespecting you. That doesn't. It's irrelevant. So, how does that look in a relationship? Can we use that example? What if you're in a relationship, Elmira, and your partner says, blah, 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 say they're having a problem. Oh, I got a good one. Say your partner has a problem with a woman on their job.
Yeah.
Right? They've got a woman that's micromanaging them. Maybe this woman is their supervisor or whatever. And this woman is micromanaging your partner. Okay? And your partner makes a comment about women being controlling or, whatever. Oh, maybe she's on her period today. She must be on her period again. She acting like it's because she don't have no man. What if your partner said something like that? But what they're really expressing in a moment of frustration is, I'm capable of my job. I don't need someone micromanaging me. I know what I'm doing. Exactly. I have experience. I'm a professional, And in that moment, you are offended, but you also know your partner needs support in this moment. How can you handle that?
What I would say is, I understand you're frustrated right now. What would make this situation better? How can you handle your manager better? I'm a person who asks questions. That's part of what I do as a self-care coach
Yeah.
because I put the onus back on the person. It's yourself. How can you control this situation? How can you love yourself better? How can you take responsibility in this situation? So that's what I would start to inquire with my partner, asking
Yeah.
him, okay, how did you handle that? Or how could you handle this better? How can you improve your relationship with your supervisor? Yes, I understand you're frustrated right now. What are some things that, oh, and then their response could be, you know what? I could have, now that I think about it, I was supposed to do this at 8:30, but I waited till 9 a.m. to do it. No
Mhm.
wonder she was mad. No wonder the supervisor was mad. I didn't do my job. Like, once you put the onus back on the person, I've seen this time and time again with
Yeah.
clients, we start to recognize things about ourselves that we did, and we don't start pointing the finger. Ah, they did this, the boss did this, the boss. You start to say, well, wait a minute. I never thought about it that way. Or, maybe that is true. Or maybe it's not true. Let me start analyzing the situation in a different way. So that's what I do. I pose questions. I never tell people what to do. I make
Mm.
them create the decision on their own, and then they come
Mhm.
to the resolution. Sometimes it's immediately, sometimes it could be after 24 hours, other times after a week, sometimes after months, but that's okay because we as humans are fully capable of making our own decisions. That's where some of these disagreements come through because we think our partner can't make his or her own decisions. Yes, they can.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. We acting like they need us to make a decision for them, and that is not the case.
no,
I
they
want to
don't.
play. I want to play. I want to say God's advocate. I don't like the term devil's advocate. I'm gonna play God's advocate here and just throw a little twist into that scenario. Now, what I love about your response is that what you're doing in that scenario is challenging your partner to respond instead of reacting, right? Because you're reminding them that, hey, let's see, what was it? What could I have done differently in this situation? What I do like about that, I used to do that. Either one of my now adult children would tell you that they'll come home with a conflict, and if it was an adult, especially an adult disrespecting them or something like that, or allowing them to be disrespected, now they know I have their back. If I need to go to that school, I'm going to that school, right? However, we're also going to discuss. Tell me, what do you think you could have done differently? Putting all
Mm.
things, put all this stuff aside. Tell me, what do you think you could do differently? What are some other options that you have? Because I want them to train their brain as they're growing up to think, about different ways they can respond and to get to the point where by the time they reach adulthood that they're on the spot thinking of different ways they can respond instead of react. Now, but
Yeah,
say we're in a
yeah.
relationship. Let's go back to this relationship scenario. And this is, say this is my partner, and he's saying all this stuff. I see that he's very frustrated. He's really needing my support in this moment. And I know he's the type of person, like, he's not in this moment, he's not going to react well to me saying that. He may be like, I feel like the whole world is against me. Right now, I need to hear something that makes me feel like somebody's on my side right now. You know, um, and maybe they may have a propensity to have a bad reaction to me saying that. You know, I think if we were really gonna like, okay, we're really gonna handle this with kid glove. Okay, I think I would sit down next to my partner. I think I would allow my voice to become very soft, very
Mhm.
comforting, very nurturing. I'm going to touch him in some kind of way. I'm going to rub his back. I'm going to hold his hand. I'm going to hold his face and look him in the eye. I may kiss him, on the cheek or do something comforting. Honey, you have worked so hard at this job. You have this many years experience, at this job. Now, you and I both know you can run that place. This person may be acting like this because she senses that you are capable of doing her job. More, more than likely, that's it, right?
Mhm.
She's heard all these wonderful things about you. She sees what kind of work you do. She knows the only reason you don't have her job because you don't want her job, right? You're
Any
touching,
of
you're
that
caressing, you're
stuff.
being comforting. You massage service, you know how to do it all, right? So I think we could also, once we've like diffused the situation and gotten all the, that negative energy out, let them vent, we hear them, we, support, support, support. Later, we could say, well, at this moment, that's still your job. At this moment, that is still your direct supervisor or someone you report to or whatever the case may be. We're just pretending, this person is the supervisor. We could say, well, I don't want you to feel or to buy into the illusion that this is out of your control or that you're
Yeah.
at her mercy. Let's come up with 5 things about the situation that are within your control, right? At this point, you relaxed. I done brought them dinner, whatever the case. We done rubbed feet. We did whatever we did, right? We did whatever. Right? Now, this person is receptive to hearing things, that include responding instead of reacting, right? um, they're receptive to that. And it's about the way that we say it. You know, we're
Absolutely.
saying, hey, well, you're not at that person's mercy. Here's 5 things that's within your control. You know, first of all, you can, it's up to you how much you let this person get to you. Because no matter how they
Mhm.
react, yeah, she don't have no man at home, so she probably got an attitude. But guess what? You coming home to me every day. You have nothing to worry about. No matter what she says to you or whatever this person does to you, that's temporary, boo. As soon as you hit that door and you heading home, you're good. One thing you could do is have this or that report done before you even know she's about to say it. You know, this
This
person's been
is
riding your
true.
back long enough. You can predict what they're about to say to you. You can list, we don't have to do the whole list. You can list some things and open their mind to ideas into their thinking. You have them thinking, oh yeah, you know what? I am in control of this situation. I know how to handle her in the meantime. And while I'm doing that, I can be looking for something else. I can look for another position in the company or whatever. We got a comment here. Your partnership is a sacred space, and he needs to always
Mhm.
know you have his back first, always. Yep.
Yeah.
And it could be, I like that because I'm like, for me, I want my partner to feel like I had their back, even if they're wrong. We're gonna talk about that part first. We can talk. We got the rest of the weekend to talk about that where you was wrong at. We're gonna laugh about it later, But right now,
Yeah.
the first thing, they want to hear that you have their back, and we truly do. We really do have their back. But this goes to what we were talking about in our love attraction, the new way to attract love, and it was so good. Elmira, that was so good on Saturday. I really, really enjoyed it. And real quick, I want to thank everybody that showed up. Everybody registered. Everybody participated. It was so wonderful. We got so much love, such high engagement, wonderful responses. People were letting us know that the content was hidden. It was wonderful. But one thing that we talked about, like you mentioned, is divine feminine leadership. It's about the way that we initiate these conversations, right? Do you want to make a comment about how everything went and or about divine feminine leadership?
I just want to say, I mean, to add to what you're saying, everybody who was in attendance received the information so well and were there to receive the information. And that's what made it great. And especially when we got to the visualization, it was just beautiful. I felt everybody's love. Like
Yes.
they were just soaking it up, and we had a lot of questions. We should have allowed more time for the question and answers because the ladies who attended had a
This time we
lot
will.
of
Yeah.
questions. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to do it again on the 30th, for everybody who wants to be a part of it. I invite the same people to come back again. I invite you to bring a friend, people who didn't get to participate on the 16th, come on the 30th. We had such great questions. We had a limited time to answer the questions that we did have, but I think it'd be great to find a way to answer more questions this time. But
Yeah.
we had such a wonderful response, and bringing a new perspective of how to attract love energy. Because even in this scenario that we're talking about, you're in this relationship, your partner is having a frustration on their job. Even though you've attracted this partner, you still we're always wanting to attract and multiply love energy. Because you can have a partner, you can be in a relationship, and then love energy is gone. Leave the partnership, but you're still there with the person. We want to constantly be regenerating that love energy, right?
And that's something I was thinking about that before you even mentioned it, because that's what this is about. As you attract more love energy, it doesn't matter whether you're in relationship or seeking relationship or not, you can always regenerate things. You can always reactivate things. I see it even with myself. It's a daily thing with me and my boyfriend, like reactivating the time we spend together, the quality time. That is attracting more love energy, because I could easily say, oh, I don't have it, I can't do this, we're not going to do this activity or go out on a date or whatever it is. I'm not going to take you out for your birthday. Like his birthday was on Monday. But because I'm always in this mode of love, it's like my scope. It's cycling. I'm cycling the love. I'm regenerating the love. And the more I put out, the more I receive. So what we're speaking about, you can always increase your love.
Yeah.
Even if you're like, I got the best loving relationship right now, you can always increase it, because the more you have for yourself, you can share that with others. You can be a witness and example for another couple, or even for another friendship, another business relationship, because your love is overflowing. You see?
100%. Yes, I love that. And I love what you're saying. There's always room for more love, always. And, that room we're speaking of in terms of space, it comes from opening your heart even more, you know. And of course, you and your partner, or you and your child, you and your parent, you and your friend, you want to create the safe space for each other in which you feel safe opening your heart even more. But once you get to this level, that you are aware that you want to attain in that relationship, whatever type of relationship that is, once you get to that level that you could foresee, you then want to challenge yourself to go even deeper. What are ways that I hadn't even thought of that I can support this person? You know, what are ways ways I hadn't thought of that I can give? What are things that we can do together, right? Because as we said earlier, I lose nothing when I give my love. And a
Yeah.
lot of times the problem is we're thinking about it in terms of physically, the physical things we give, you know, that I don't want to give this person this money because what if I don't get my money back or it doesn't turn out to be worth the investment? Well, hold on. Do you have something deeper within to give? You know, that's not always the answer. Is giving money. That person may need your love and support in that safe space. They may need you
Yeah.
to just hear them with or without giving a solution to the problem. They may just need to be heard, you know, and it doesn't mean you always have to co-sign their BS. If you don't agree in that moment, you can say, I'm just it really hurts me to see you this upset. It hurts me to see you feeling undervalued. You know, I want you to know you're valued by me. If you don't feel like they value you on that job, I value you. I see this and that in you. I see this potential in you. I see this talent in you. Just it hurts my ears to think that, to hear that somebody doesn't appreciate this about you like I do. They may just need to
Right.
hear that. And that gives them the energy to think of a solution, right? So I just want to say that, we have to challenge ourselves to go deeper and to give more from within. Because when you do that, you grow. Even if that person does not reciprocate, even if they don't reciprocate, them reciprocating can't always be what you measure, what you use to measure, was it worth it for you to give that? Okay.
Yeah,
And what I mean
because
is,
it's no.
right, because if you're basing whether or not it was worth you giving your time or energy or whatever to this person based on whether or not they've reciprocated that exact same thing, that's not a response, that's a reaction. That's a reaction. I can't base the value of what I gave and whether or not it was a good decision based on whether or not you reciprocated. I got to base it on how much did I grow? How much
Right.
did my heart open in this scenario? What did I learn? Did I pay attention to how good that felt in that moment when I was giving to you? You know? And if we really understand universal law, you're going to understand that 9 times out of 10, in a lot of cases, what you're giving, you are going to receive that same thing from the universe, but it's not going to always come back through that same person. It's not.
And would you really want it to anyway? Like that's the question. Like
It don't have
think about it.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't have to all the time. And it's like, okay, and let's just use the partner scenario. Let's go ahead and do that. In the partner scenario, because, and I'm harping on that one because that is a scenario in which you're in a relationship with someone where you're on equal ground, right? And what I mean is the roles are assumed to be equal. Whereas if we're talking about your relationship with your adult child, you see yourself as the mentor and you know that you paying for their college, they can't pay for your nothing. Or if this is your relationship with your parent, there's an expectation that they're kind of like in a mentorship role, right? But in your relationship with your partner, there's an expectation that we're on equal footing here, right? Even with that being said, that there's not really like a hierarchy, even with that being said, you may have different capabilities than that person. They may have different capabilities than you. We call them love languages. We call them tendencies, right? I may have a tendency to be a really good listener, but my partner may be really good at anticipating what I need before I even know I need it. They may be like, Pangea, sit down. You need to rest today. You've been working all day, all week. Sit down. Let me cook for you. You're going to rest today. I don't care what you have planned. Sit down. We're going to rearrange some things because I see you running on fumes and I may be pushing myself too hard, right? Whereas for me, I may have a capability of noticing when they came home from work, they come in the door and I say, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. No, you're not. I feel that you're not okay. And I know by the end of the night, I'm going to get you to tell me what's really going on, right? I'm not going to push, but I'm going to make sure that comes out and that we talk about it and that you get to express yourself, you know? So because he made me, or I listened or got him to communicate, that may not be his gift. I can't expect him to take me out of my box and make me communicate because that's what I do for him. That's not how it works. That's not how it works, you know? And we can't always expect the exact same thing that we do for someone to be the exact same thing they do for us. What we can do is make a good choice from day one. Make a good choice in your partner. Choose someone who has characteristics that's complementary to your characteristics, right? Complementary to your characteristics, meaning it doesn't have to match. We always talk about finding the perfect match. It don't have to be the exact same thing. We're the same person, and we're the exact same person. One of us is unnecessary. You need to have a characteristic that complements my characteristics. If I tend to be, I'm high wired, I'm working all the time. I need somebody that knows when to go on vacation, knows when to rest, knows how to keep things in balance, right? Those characteristics complement each other, right? So making a good choice from the beginning, and we talked about this on the 16th, that stems from knowing yourself well, having embraced your personal power, knowing what is powerful about you, and living in a state where you're exercising that. You're in flow state, you're exercising that, right? I'm gonna say this last thing and then I want you to tell me what you think about this. Based on what I'm saying, that we need to make a good choice in a partner based on knowing ourselves, knowing our strengths, knowing our weaknesses, right? Walking in our strengths, living in our gifts, right? Appreciating our own self. When we make a choice based on that, we're choosing a good partner. Now, I think in our society, we just value having somebody, and we consider success having a partner. How would things look different if we value success based on having the right partner?
Yeah, and a partner who compliments you and is attracted to you in all the right ways. Because when I see attraction, I see because I want to tell everybody, we do have a course called 7 Centers of Attraction. It starts on October the 21st. You can enroll now. We already have participants enrolled. You can contact either of us via DM to get enrolled in the 7 Centers of Attraction. And it's just this, identifying who is that ideal partner for you that is attracted to your unique gifts and skills. Because I know before I had a lot of men be like, you're never going to find anybody because you're this, you act intelligent, your personality is this way, whatever it is. Just because I ran a business, any of these number of things they would say. But understanding, say that again.
They're like, oh, you're doing too much.
Exactly, but understanding, but we are all powerful, and you will find that out in this course, 7 Centers of Attraction. They're aligned with all of the 7 chakras. So each week it's a 7-week course. We delve in deep, and you'll be here with support from a group and from the both of us too. So I encourage you. You're looking for love. You really want to find out specifically what you desire to attract. Get in the course, 7 Centers of Attraction.
You know what? And I'm so excited to be able to share that with everyone. We did unveil 7 Centers of Attraction, the 7-week course, during our seminar last week, The New Way to Attract Love, which we're going to do again on the 30th. The reason I'm so excited about 7 Centers of Attraction is because, we're talking about universal laws and how they manifest within our body and within our own life, how we can embrace them and use them to attract what we want. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about it from the perspective of love. But quiet as kept, guys, you can use these same principles to attract anything into your life.
That's right.
Now, we're talking about 7 centers of attraction, which we're talking about our chakras. And when people, in general, when we talk about our chakras, we're talking about the energy that we emit from our chakras. But what we're bringing attention to is that what you emit determines what you magnetize to yourself, what you're attracting to yourself. So instead of calling your chakras your 7 energy centers, we're calling them your 7 centers of attraction, because that's exactly what they are. And we need to view our chakras from that perspective, understand how that works. Okay. Now, a perfect example is what Elmira mentioned earlier about, feeling energized, by giving love, right? And we talked about how that corresponds to the solar plexus chakra. That's our solar plexus bowl. That's a beautiful, beautiful tone. I love that. I can feel it right here. Our solar plexus is about our personal power. Okay. When it comes to the solar plexus as an organ, our solar plexus stores the energy that we get from the light of the sun. On an energetic level, this is about our personal power. Now, for someone whose solar plexus is out of balance, this can look like having a need to control other people, right? Like in the example we gave earlier, my partner wants to make a career change and they think the career change should be this, but I think the career change should be that. How am I going to tell you what your career needs to be? You the one got to get up and do that every morning. Is it going to affect my life? Sure. But if we don't agree on it right now, me disagreeing and failing to support you, refusing to support you, it's not going to make you come around and see things my way. The more I support you and do that, the quicker it's going to happen that either you find out that you actually do like this, or you find out that, you know what, I was right all along. You don't even like doing that for a living. You're going to go in a different direction. But the more I support you and I don't give you something to fight against, I'm not giving you a point to prove, the quicker we're going to come to an understanding of what's really what, right? So the imbalance solar plexus says, I need to control the situation. I need to refuse. I'm going to refuse to support this person. I'm not going along with that because I don't agree with it. That is a backdoor way. Setting someone up for failure is a backdoor way of controlling them, making it difficult for them to accomplish whatever it is because you don't think that's what they should be trying to accomplish, right? So, and sometimes we just don't even think things through. Think that through. You sabotage someone and then they fail. Now you're trying to come back, well, honey, let's do this. You was wrong, you failed. See that? Now let's do this, what I said again with, are they going to accept your so-called support? No, that's going to feel fake to them. And they're not going to want to be bothered
Not at all.
with your idea. No, I just could be right all day long, but the way that you're asserting that is wrong, right? So when we're talking about divine feminine leadership, femininity is not being forceful. It's not forcing your will upon somebody. That's not it, right? So we're talking about this solar plexus. A more balanced approach would be not how can I use my power to sabotage them? How can I use my power to support them in this endeavor and figuring out what is best for them? They feel like they know what's right, or they're choosing to go down this path to figure out what's right. What can I do to support that effort, right? Even if I don't think it's going to turn out right, I still want this person to know that they had my support in the process, right? That's coming from a balanced center of attraction, that solar plexus. I hope everybody sees that difference. What do you think about that, Elmira?
That that's balance. And we have to have balance in everything because sometimes our the signal of what we, and I told this story in class last week, of what we attract is based on these imbalances. Because at the time I did attract, you talking about somebody who was controlling. Yes, at one time I did attract a man who was that way, was telling
I
me
think
all
we have
kinds of
one
stuff.
of
You
them,
should do
but
this.
I'm sorry. I'm getting a message that says we have 12 seconds. This thing is going to shut off.